It's another great day in Quad Radio USA. Hello again and welcome to quadradio.net. I'm Rodney Tomlin. Today my guest, Nick Moser. And of course, I want to take this opportunity once again to say thanks to Impact Solutions and our good friends over at Elko Suspension for being a big and huge monumental part of what's going on here at the quadradio.net efforts. And also want to encourage you to stop over to quadradio.net, check out the things we got going on the website. One thing in particular I think folks might find interesting is the fact that we have a Where to Ride page. And that'll give you an idea of your local areas where you might be able to go. We've even got a couple of tracks that send us their schedules over in the UK. So if you happen to be in the UK, you can find a place to ride over there as well in our Where to Ride portion of the page. So be sure to check it out, quadradio.net. Nick Moser, if you don't know who he is, he was an avid up-and-coming racer several years ago and was on the cusp, on the verge of being what I would consider in pretty good shape. You would probably be sitting with the Thomas Browns and the Jeffrey Rastrellis and the Nick Janusas and all those boys and the Chad Wienans and the Joel Hettricks battling it out up there. But unfortunately for you, you had an incident that kind of, well, a couple incidents, I guess, ultimately, that took you out ultimately from ATV racing. But the one in particular that we remember was Briar Cliff in Ohio, when you had a really bad injury, and it was life-changing, I guess we could say, huh?
It was, Ronnie. I think a lot of people underestimate or misjudge kind of what I went through. They hear, I broke 8 ribs, punctured a lung. Who cares? A lot of people do that, but really it was a lot more than that. I mean, I was pretty much dead for about 60 seconds. I mean, I had no heartbeat. I was unresponsive. I remember my mom. People, I think, don't think I'm telling the truth with this, but when they say you could hear stuff and see the light, I remember it was completely bright, like I was in an operating room staring up at the ceiling. That's all I can remember, but I could hear my mother yelling, just wake up, wake up, wake up. And that was the first thing I heard too when I woke up, and she was right there screaming at me. And then after that, I had a seizure, came back to, and it was like 4.5 minutes till the paramedics even got to me. I know Dylan Jerome was there, Greg Pafford, my dad, Joel Hettrick was there, a couple other people, but no paramedics for a while. And I came back to, Dylan held me for a little bit as I stopped seizing and everything, and was spitting up a lot of blood. And me and my dad have been deer hunters for about 12 years now, so the paramedics were arguing with them, saying that, I bit my tongue, it wasn't anything to do internally. And my dad said, no, when you shoot a deer in the lungs and you find blood, there's bubbles in it. Well, I was spitting blood up all over my dad, all over his clothes, and every time I spit up on him, there was bubbles all through the blood. So he knew right there that I was in trouble, and he was right. I remember the medevac flight. It was about 30 minutes, and the whole time I was actually really calm. Didn't freak out, but the whole time I prayed.
Wow. And your prayers were answered.
Yeah, they were. Thank God, right?
Amen. Amen, man. I mean, and unfortunately, sometimes you don't get a chance to tell the story. I mean, there's the Texas ATV Memorial, the Texas Memorial ATV National race, which we're at this weekend. Unfortunately, there's people out there, and fortunately, thank God, we're not here remembering you today. You know what I mean?
Thank God.
And so that brings us to the point where all of a sudden, Nick, you quit riding. What happened there? Because if I remember right, you came back and then you kind of faded away again. You kind of left the situation. What happened?
I took the first year off. Honestly, I was just disgusted with it at first. I wanted nothing to do with riding a quad. I should say that the whole time. The first couple months I was like that, but then it started hitting me like the 4th and 5th month. I was like, wow, maybe I should have said I was taking a break versus retiring. But that took place. But once I got back into it, I was right where I left off. Not totally. I was a little more hesitant. I always had that wreck in the back of my head, and I feel like that kind of messed with me a little bit. I wasn't where I wanted to be. I was getting top 10s. I was being consistent, but I got hurt right after Millville. In 2016, I ended up messing up my shoulder, so I missed, I think, Unadilla and Redbud, but that wasn't too bad. That was on me, just riding dumb, not going out and practicing and looking at the track like I should have been. But I came back at Loretta's, and I think I got 10th after being off the bike for 7 weeks. So I was going into the 2017 season head down, all 4, and then I got an MRI result back because I was getting real bad headaches, and they came up with Chiari. It's actually disease that you're born with. There's a spot in the back of your head where your skull doesn't grow big enough, but your brain is bigger, so it actually hangs out a little bit. So you have that extra precaution that you can't take a blow to the back of the head, because if you hit that spot of your brain, they say it could leave you brain dead, or it could sever your spine and completely leave you paralyzed from the neck down. So when my mom heard that, I had no choice. She pulled the plug on me. That was it. So that's when the Vossman thing came into play. Perfect timing, great family. I was so blessed to have that opportunity to work with them. Still rode a little bit, helping them guys out, but it wasn't the same. I had a wonderful year, but it definitely wasn't the same as being out on the track.
And then we come to 2018. Tell us how this all came about.
Well, I know Kevin was wanting to come back and race this year, and I was talking to him about being the team trainer and helping him. Same thing I did with Vossman. So he flew me down to Alabama. We went, I believe. We were down there riding a little bit, and he was doing great. I started riding again, and I had no intentions on racing, but me and him got to talking, and we really wanted to win a championship for Kyle Men's Motorsports, and Kevin hasn't raced in 25 years. So he wasn't feeling too confident in himself, and I totally understand that. And so when we got to talking about winning, and we figured I could definitely win 25 plus. Hopefully, I better be able to at that point, until I found out Jansen and Johnny Hill were running it too. But that makes it better for me.
Right.
But I'm out here, in Kyler's name and memory, and that's the only reason why I'm here. And we're gonna get it done. We're gonna win every race this year, every moto, and we're gonna win the championship.
Awesome, man, and that's great. And even if you don't win every race, win a championship, or even come close, being out here in his memory, I think it is a great thing for the sport, for you, for his parents and his friends and everybody. I think it's really good. Wow. And I guess that brings me to a question. If you watch the interview with the Lenses, they had a lot to deal with. Losing a son is tough, and I have to think, and I don't know. I mean, I would think losing someone else would be harder than it being yourself that you're worried about. But I almost have to think, man, isn't there something in the back of your mind out there that says, should I really be doing this?
Absolutely, absolutely. I thought about it from day one till now, still, but I look at the Lenses, and they're still here, they're helping, they're supporting, and everything that they went through. How could I not come race just for being scared when they're here and for what they went through? So
right.
I'm scared, but I'm here for a good reason, and I could walk out of the door down the street and get hit by a car and never wake up again. So anything can happen, and if anything did happen to me, I'd love for it to be here.
I understand that, and I've heard a lot of people say that, and I don't think people understand the magnitude of that when they say that, but I think you, someone that was in the situation where you basically saw the light, like you were talking about earlier, you know that possibility looms. You were that close to it, and yet you still choose to be here, and that's amazing. I mean, not everybody's going to make that same choice. Not even you in the beginning wanted to make that choice. I mean, do you think just being around the sport helped get you back into it, or were you wanting to be in the sport? Is that why you were here?
Honestly, if I didn't go in 2015 to support my brother Joel at every race, I probably wouldn't have came back, to be honest. But just being there and with the atmosphere and just around all my friends, and I just missed it so much. So it only took 2 races for me to realize I made a huge mistake. I actually, in 2015, at Unadilla, I signed up for the pro class, and I did both qualifiers. I haven't rode since the day at Briarcliff, and it was well over a year. And I think I qualified 11th. And went out for the first moto, made it 3 laps, pulled right off, said I'm done. And that was it. That was the only time I rode that year. But it was a blast. But I'm glad. I'm so thankful to be back.
I'm thankful that you're back too, man, because it just seems this is where your heart is. So, with obviously the junior 25 plus class, or is it junior 25 plus here?
Yeah, junior 25 plus.
That is the main goal, winning that championship. What are some of the other things that you hope to achieve this year?
Well, we wanted to win that championship early and then hopefully bump back up with the big boys. But recently we've been hopefully choosing another route, so that's not going to be our plan anymore. We're going to follow through the whole season with 25 plus. And my main goal is just to come out here, obviously win the championship, but really just be a smarter racer and a smarter rider than I have been in the past. And so far it's been working pretty well for me. I'm definitely not as fast as I used to be. I still jump most of the stuff, and I'm not supposed to be doing that, but I do feel a lot better on the bike than I ever have, and I just want to stay consistent and injury-free and come out on top at the last race of the Reddits. That's my goal.
Wow, that's pretty impressive stuff, and you know, it just blows me away. I mean, the problem that you're talking about with the reason that your mom wanted you to quit and everybody told you it's not a good idea had nothing to do with ATV racing. That's just odd. And how many times you crashed before? I can see why you say, okay, I'm willing to risk this and gamble this, because if somebody just come, you know, anything could hit me in the back of the head and take me out. I might as well do what I enjoy and love doing. I think that's great. Unless you're a racer, I don't think you understand that mentality.
No, definitely not. No way.
But I'm glad that you have it, man. It's people like you that help keep this sport alive and make it what it is today. That's for sure. And Nick, I just wish you well. I know the reasons that you're doing it are many, and why and who you're doing it for, yourself and for Kyler. I know. I realize that, and that's great. And I wish you all the luck in the world. I hope that you can take it to all new levels, and I hope that you can find what it is you're looking for in this, man, because I know you haven't reached what you want to reach yet.
Not yet. I'm close, but we're almost there.
That's awesome. So, any parting shots, any words of wisdom that you might want to offer to anybody? Because I think really you probably got a lot more wisdom than some people have just in what you've been through yourself. I mean, you can talk about it from a perspective that no one else can.
Absolutely. Well, when your dad or your mom pull you aside before you go out on the track and they say, hey, you know, take a couple sight laps, look it out, look at the track, know what you're doing, listen to them. I know you don't want to. A lot of you are probably like me, that I used to be like back in the day. You want to go out and jump everything first lap, but really in the end it's not worth it. It's not smart. I learned the hard way, the very hard way, almost lost my life. And just be smart, be a better rider. You're not going to be here forever, and you especially ain't going to be young enough to do this, so try and make it work. Try and make your body last, and just be smart and have fun, and never be too scared to come back and do something that you love. And if you almost lost your life like I did doing it, don't ever let it push you away. Always follow your dreams and keep doing what you want.
That makes you happy, right?
Absolutely.
He's happy?
Happiest I've ever been.
Awesome, man.